This meeting is being recorded.
So welcome everyone to our September AAC Information Night for caregivers or anyone who is interested in learning more about AAC. If you've been with us for a while, you know that we're going through the Communication Bill of Rights this year for 2022. And past rights 1 through 10, we've talked about. They're recorded. You could find them on the NWACS website somewhere, I think. And so tonight, Carolee and I will be talking about Communication Bill of Rights 11 through 13.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, so I'm Margaret Edwards. I'm a speech therapist in the Renton School District.
And I'm Carolee Worth, also a speech language pathologist. And I think we have one other attendee.
Chris, hello.
Hello.
So, hi. So we're gonna go ahead and talk a little bit about NWACS. Is the NWACS is short for Northwest Augmentative Communication Society. It's been around since the late 70s, and we're proud to be one of the oldest and longest running organizations such as this in the Northwest. We have an annual conference. We're so excited. Next month, you better get signed up to see Chris Bugay, okay, and Rachel.
It's either Mandel or Mendel.
Okay, Rachel Mandel, probably. Okay.
I think.
So yeah, you don't want to miss them.
If we mispronounced it, I apologize.
Yes, our apologies. So NWACS is run by volunteers, and we like to meet the needs of all things AAC. So let us know if there's something you will need, and we'll see what we can do to help you out.
Okay.
And you want to go over the learning outcomes?
Sure. Yeah. So tonight, the learner will learn solutions to challenges regarding access. The learner will learn the importance of using AAC to teach AAC across all settings. And the learner will learn ways to respectfully acknowledge and address the AAC user.
Yeah.
All right.
And so that's it. This presentation will be on the NWACS website, and if you click on it, that communication bill of rights is a hyperlink, and so you can see all of, I think I believe it's a PDF of all the rights we've been talking about if you're interested. But tonight, number 11 is the right to have access to functioning AAC, which is short for augmentative and alternative communication, and other AT, which is short for assistive technology services at all times. So a person or a user needs to have access to everything they're entitled to, whenever they need it, however they need it, as often as they need it, and basically that's all the time. So what are the challenges to having access to your AT or your AAC at all times? So something could be wrong with it. It could be broken. There could be certain environments where you can't have or use your AT or AAC, such as like around water. I'm sure there's other situations. The battery, of course, is not fully charged. It's an electronic device. What are some other challenges? Anybody? Chris, Carolee, can you think of anything else?
I think sometimes if it's accidentally, left behind, or, you get out of a car and mom or dad left, or it's in the backpack that got left at school, or even swapped backpacks by mistake. Things happen in life, and you don't realize sometimes how helpful it is until you don't have it. So definitely having backups.
Well, that's a huge challenge.
Yeah.
You don't have it.
Story. I had that happen one time. It got figured out, but wrong backpack went home for a couple days.
Oh, yikes. So these are challenges, but then how do we get around some of these things? So just kind of make it a habit to check for, hardware damage, that it's charged, maybe you have a routine at night, you read your story, you charge your device, whatever it is. And just don't be scared to use the AAC or AT because it might break. So I've seen that. I know it seems strange, but yes. And this we're talking about Carly about you don't actually have the device, but in the case of a backpack mixer or something, the only thing I can think of is like if it's clearly labeled or something like that. Maybe because I know
Yeah,
backpack.
or having your name on it or contact, that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then the other thing is we'll talk a little bit more on, I think it's on the next slide, is having backups. So especially if you're using an electronic device, then you can have a paper-based backup if possible, right? Were you gonna say something?
Oh no, I was just
okay.
if you're ready. Is that okay?
Yeah, good. So luckily, there are some major companies that will allow you to go to their site and actually print a paper-based backup. So ProLoquo has it. That's Assistiveware. Saltillo Company has it, and also ThinkSmart. And I think there's others.
Yeah, I know we didn't provide the link, and these are links too, right? So you can click on it in the PowerPoint, and it'll go to the website. And Tobii Dynavox also has some paper options as well.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing too is when I make a paper-based backup, I screenshot. So in the schools, typically the students using an iPad with the AAC. So I screenshot and then I print it and then I use that for a backup.
Yeah.
But
that's a great idea.
Yeah, but if you can't do that, look, here you go.
Mm-hmm.
These companies have backups for you.
So the next right is number 12, the right to access environmental contexts, interactions, and opportunities that promote participation as full communication partners with other people, including peers. So my question is, what does that mean? That's a lot of information. And it took me a while and some conversations to dissect this and, think about it. So having the communication system or access to fully participate in an environment and activities that are important to an individual. So thinking about things that I like to talk about, or for those of you listening, the things that you like to talk about, we're going to be, it's going to be more fun to have a conversation about things that we're interested in. So for some people that may be sports, could be social gatherings, or being able to talk at dinner parties or birthday parties, participating in a club of some sort, talking about movies, whether you go to movies or you like to watch movies, or video games or another source of media. Shopping, I have one little one that loves to go to Target. So we talk about going to Target and how exciting that is. Having the independence and opportunity to order food at restaurants or any other outing. So these are just ideas of activities within a day that you want to have the AAC user have access to their communication so they can talk about that. So talk with me using my AAC. The quote here, which I thought was powerful, was, I want to talk about the things my peers are talking about, movies, sports, games. Tell me your favorite and I'll tell you mine. So it's a great way to have a conversation and to get engagement, right? We want to talk about the things that are important to us and meaningful. So let's use our AAC to teach AAC. And I think this complements number 11 very, very well, of having access to it at all times, right? It's not just when you come to speech. It's not just when we're eating snacks, or it's not just when you're requesting your favorite toy. AAC is multimodal communication. That can be the low tech or high tech solutions. So low tech being paper-based or pictures, high tech being technology, something that has a screen or that goes, changes different pages. AAC can still also mean though using signs and gestures. So even though they're not words, they can communicate a message. A phrase that I heard at a conference, actually it might have been an NWACS conference years ago, see me, see my AAC. And so I think that that's really important. And sometimes when I'm working with families and we're just introducing that system or starting to use it at home, the first thing we talk about is see me, see my talker, see me, see my voice, see me, see AAC, and just developing that routine of, oh, we need to bring this with us, and having that tool accessible. It's going to be a lot easier to use when it's right in front of you rather than, oh, I got to go get it, or, oh, well, it's in the kitchen, I'm not going to go get it. Sometimes those first few weeks or even months, it's going and getting it and having it be, built into the routine and just having that awareness. So along with that, use AAC to teach AAC. We have to model. So in previous information nights, we've talked a lot about modeling. So aided language modeling, and another technique for modeling is descriptive language teaching. So to quickly touch on that, any system, each system is not perfect. There's going to be some word not in a system, or some word that you can't find. And so descriptive language teaching is using vocabulary to describe that word that you're trying to find, the one you can't find. So thinking about a tree, you might say tall, green, outside, and it gives context for then the shared communication and a word that then you can help that AAC user find. So whole different conversation, just putting that out there if you're trying to think of, oh, what more can I do to model? So another quote here at the bottom is, if you use my talker, I will learn how to use my talker. So I think giving yourself permission to learn and just creating that habit and use is how we teach the AAC users how to talk about the things that are meaningful to them. So I put the question, where are you in that journey? Some of us might be figuring out what low tech is. We just shared a couple great resources. Some of us or you are, exploring different high tech options, and some people might just be starting to use signs. Some might be remembering, this week and next week, when I see my child or adolescent or adult, I need to go get the talker, or I need to get the booklet, or where is our picture board? So this is a process and a journey. And so just a question, where are you in the journey? Moving on. So this I thought was powerful too as well. So perhaps if you can't get him to say what you want, I'm sorry, I'm going to start over. Perhaps if you can't get him to say what you want, you should try helping him say what he wants. And there at the bottom, Kate, help me say her last name. Thank you. A well-known SLP that specializes with AAC. And I find this really powerful because it reminds us to talk about different things. Myself as a clinician, there's different ways to say the same thing. One example I provide for families is, that thing that you sit on in your living room that you can sit or lay on. Some families might call it a couch, some may call it a sofa. So we have to use different words and different vocabulary so that the AAC user can learn to say what they want to say. Another example I like to talk to families about is different ways to refuse or say something. Some of us say, all done. Maybe you say no, maybe you say stop, maybe you say no more. There's a lot of different ways to give that appropriate refusal. So it's good to teach and use those different phrases and not just say, we're going to work on stop, or, we're working on want. You might say, I like, or I need, or can you help me? And so using all of those different words and vocabulary, or the different vocabulary words, is how AAC users learn how to say what they want to say.
Yeah.
I have 2 links here that you guys can go check out. I thought these were very powerful, and they're actually from a blog. The first one is an AAC user and experience that he uses his AAC to be an advocate. I'll let you read the rest. I don't want to give any spoilers. And the other one is also by an AAC user, and that user was able to write a poem. So those are 2 things that are meaningful to them. And I think that those users have had the opportunity to have that vocabulary modeled and the opportunity to talk about the things that they want to talk about so that they can express it in their own way. So I think that that's powerful, and not that everybody is like that, but just some examples of things that people are doing.
Very nice. So number 13, leads us right up to the last one we're going to talk about tonight, which is something that is kind of dear to me. The right to be treated with dignity and addressed with respect and courtesy. Yeah, this is kind of one of those areas where in my practice, I don't, I don't know why. I mean, constantly just reminding folks that everyone needs to be treated the same dignity and respect, treating someone how you and they want to be treated, and caring about the thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and rights of someone else. So it seems kind of basic, but sadly, sometimes it's not practiced. Sometimes when some of the people I work with. So the next slide shows some things that this is just my list. Um, I put hot button issues because these are the things that make me really mad. So don't ignore the AAC user. Talk as if they're not sitting there and they can't hear you, using that high pitched voice when they're like in high school. Using a curriculum that's not age respectful, and then soon. So I always see don't think their thoughts. Sometimes when a person, especially we have like paraeducators, they're assigned to a student and they're together for so many hours a day that that person may start to think their thoughts because they know them so well. But even if you do, still don't. Okay. Instead, acknowledge the AAC user, use a normal voice. Let's say a little kid, then of course you can use that high pitched sing songy, but not with a 17-year-old. Include the AAC user, have a curriculum that is age appropriate, and don't think their thoughts. So, yes. Okay. I think that's that's all I should say about that. So let's look at some etiquette.
So video, just a short video that talks about that.
It's just 2 minutes.
Hey everyone, here at the Wendell Johnson Speech and Hearing Clinic, we're passionate about using the proper etiquette when interacting with people who use AAC. Some graduate student clinicians at the University of Iowa are here to share some tips since October is AAC Awareness Month.
AAC stands for Augmentative and Alternative Communication. It gives people who don't rely on their natural voice a way to communicate their thoughts and ideas. It can include gestures, facial expressions, low-tech boards, or high-tech speech-generating devices. Individuals who may use it include people with autism, apraxia of speech, aphasia, or ALS.
When interacting with someone who uses AAC, it's important to have the same sense of camaraderie that you would have when you're interacting with anyone else. You can ask open-ended questions, you can make jokes, and have a good time. Just because their mode of communication is different doesn't mean your interactions have to be. Remember to treat them with respect. Ask before you touch their device or look over their shoulder as they're typing. This form of communication is just as personal to them as your speech is to you. Additionally, don't ask them to perform by asking them to say certain words or ask them questions just so you can watch them use their device. Just remember, when you're communicating with someone with an AAC device, don't pretend that there is no difference between their device and your speech. It's okay to acknowledge the difference.
Assume that the individual that's using AAC is intelligent and they can hear you. You can demonstrate this by using regular, normal speech. You don't need to talk louder or slower and use regular language unless the person asks you to do otherwise.
Have patience and allow wait time when interacting with someone who uses AAC. Try to take turns and say a short amount at a time, and then wait for your communication partner to respond. Be careful about interrupting too. Ask before assuming your communication partner wants you to finish their sentences.
Try not to talk about more than one idea at a time, and don't fill silences while waiting for your communication partner to respond. Everyone communicates differently, and that's something to celebrate.
Thank you. Yes. So it's just all about respect, which, as I sort of alluded to, could be different for for different people. Meaning, like one AAC user might be, it's okay to look over their shoulder and finish their sentences, but another AAC user may not want to do that. So, like I said, just check in with that person. But other than that, same respect you show anyone. So just because they're using AAC doesn't mean that they're less than, or they don't have a right to be treated as you would treat any other person or colleague.
I think that's a great video. It summarizes a lot of great points.
Yes, yeah. Oh, me, resources. So resources. So if you want more information, there's a Bill of Rights there. If you click on the ASHA link, talks a little bit more about the Bill of Rights, I think. Then the software we referenced earlier with the paper-based AAC boards. Of course, NWACS to learn more about AAC. AAC Language Lab is a great resource. And the new one we added is the Chapel Hill snippet. It's a blog.
Yeah, it was one that I stumbled across in the last few weeks, and I thought that it gives a really nice, there's a really nice visual on this particular post, and it had lots of, so it's the tip of the iceberg. So when you click on it, it's so much more than just that use of a high-tech device, and it just talks about what goes into successful communication with AAC. So I thought that it tied in nicely with some of the topics that we've been talking about, and just a good visual to take a look at and to think about it, a little bit differently for yourself or for your team. So just something, just a resource if you're interested.
Yeah, it's a good one. I highly recommend anyone listening to go ahead and just explore that one when you have a moment.
Yeah. So it looks like we've got one more parent information night or caregiver information night for this year. So in November, we will finish the discussion over the last few rights, and then hopefully in the new year we'll have a new topic. I think that's all we have. Our last this is a slide we just show at the end. So general information about NWACS. As Margaret said at the beginning, it is a group of volunteers. We're always looking for more volunteers. If you're interested in getting involved, you can send an email through the website. You can also find us on social media. We have a growing presence. So Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter. These videos are posted to YouTube as well. If you are a family member or caregiver for a child who uses AAC, there is a specific Facebook group for parents or caregivers. So there's a specific link just to that, more than just the general information that we put out there. But sometimes it's nice to, make connections with families that either have similar experiences or may, if you have a question about looking for a resource or you experience this, it's just a nice way to connect in a smaller community with other caregivers in the area. So feel free to check it out. If you know somebody who you think might be interested in any of this information, then please share. And like Margaret said too, we do have our, I was going to say webinar, and we do have a webinar next week. So we have evening webinars posted on the website, but our conference is coming up. I should have the date memorized, but I believe it's Saturday, the October 15th, and that's virtual. So all are welcome to attend. We have a variety of attendees. So if you're interested, then check that out. Thank you.